It's hard to believe that the Battered Woman Syndrome first edition was published 40 years ago. It seems like yesterday. It was a new field of study in psychology. We studied it on its own. And one of the biggest changes today is that we're very integrated. We're now integrating the mental health piece of what happens to women who are in domestic violence relationships, but we're adding men too. So we're just beginning the study of men, but that's a very exciting part. That might be in Battered Women Syndrome 5. We're also understanding that many of the myths that we started with in the first edition are now still there. Some are not. And we also are looking at battering and domestic violence as part of a larger field of gender violence. And that really includes a number of different areas that we didn't have a lot of discussion about in the first edition. Some of the newer statistical information that actually does show us that Battered Woman Syndrome exists. There's always been controversy in the field. One of the problems is that the kind of research that you have to do when you're looking at domestic violence, we can't do one group that's battered and one group that's not battered, which is the standard way that psychologists like to see research. But we have no idea of the large number of women, particularly, who have been abused and battered in their relationships. So that's part of why gender violence is now an overall category, a bigger category. But it also shows us that we have to look at the factors that make up Battered Woman Syndrome. And that's changed over the years as well. And by the fourth edition, we're feeling very strong that we have the statistical data to demonstrate the fact that Battered Woman Syndrome exists, and we have treatment that's going to help us. Now that the court has ruled that every citizen is entitled to marry the person that they want, and has affirmed GLBT, gay marriage, and marriage with non-gender conforming people, we are now looking at abuse in those areas. We've had a hard time getting statistics because it's revealing that you're in a gay marriage was something that could cause you all kinds of consequences. I think it's also going to change some of the court attitudes because courts have been very conservative, and they're being forced to adapt to GLBT marriages before they have ever really accepted it emotionally and morally. And that means they've got they're going to be exposed to the fact that, in my opinion, all people are equal.